Welcome to Doing Business with a Servant's Heart. Doing business and life with a purpose, serving others and achieving success. I'm your host, Steve Ramona. We created this show for you because we want everyone to learn how to do business and life to make an impact in the world. And what impact will you make today? And I'm excited because I just learned about my guest in the green room before the show. She is awesome. Welcome, Ann, to the show.
Thank you. I'm super excited to be here with you, Steve. We're already having so much fun. So this is going to be great.
So I want to ask you a unique question. I've never asked people when they first come on. What do people in the business world not know about you?
Okay, so I'm going to go back to, I used to dance competition disco when I was in college.
Really?
Most people don't know that about me. I did competition couples disco. Yes.
Well, I love that. You know why? Because you did a sport, and I think sports is a great bridge for business. Do you agree?
I did a lot of sports growing up. I've always been in sports and cheerleading and all those things. But yeah, when I went to college, I kind of fell into I was dating somebody and we fell into kind of the disco dance competition world. And I actually enjoyed that more than I did college and the classes. So it was fun.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Well, let's get into Business Accelerator. I hear it, we hear it in business. Can you define that a little better for us?
Yeah. So one of the things that I'm really known for is propelling my coaches, consultants, professional service entrepreneurs into faster success. And I help them work at a really high end in their business. So very high end clients and programs. And so one of the things that makes me very different is I accelerate them. I always say build $1 million business with 20 clients or build $1 million business with 40 clients or 10 clients. That's a very different model than what most people are out there teaching and doing. So it is an acceleration for most people. And it's simple. It's a simple model.
What's your favorite part about that?
I get to work with some of the most amazing people. But I think for me, like my heart, I see people undervalue them, what they know and their expertise and their experience and their skills. And so when I get to take somebody from charging a few $1,000s to clients because they have sort of fallen into the cookie cutter coaching consulting trap, and I can help them I had a client that just closed a $413,000 client. So when I can help people move into really getting paid for all of that expertise and value that they bring to the market, there is just, and it changes their life, that there's just nothing that makes me more excited. It's like, yes, you get to do this at such a high level.
Love your energy about this because we all need money. The more we have, the more abundance we can give back. So somebody listening is not at the level that you're talking about, but wants to graduate or get to that, I call it scale, go from grow to scale, which you probably teach.
Yes.
What do what's a good piece of advice for them that are not there yet, but want to get there?
You probably already have what you need as long as you've got experience. I call it career collateral. So working with maybe CEOs coming out of corporate or people management coming out of corporate, if people can take what they already know and what they're already so good at doing, and they can build their business around that. A lot of times people can get those premium fees and they don't even realize it. It's just how they package, market, and sell that. So that is the message. Like when I wrote my best-selling book, that's the whole message in my book. Everything that I teach is around that. It's around do what you're already so good at and that you love. Like I call it your sweet spot. When you do that, you're going to have a better business. It's going to make more money, and you don't have to convince clients that you know what you're doing because you already know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. It's just, it's definitely where my heart is for people.
Well, and you nailed it with me because that's my heart too, of the thought leader expertise to change the world. Is that what you're really doing, building their thought leader expertise?
Yes. But, they're also coaching and consulting. So they're helping other people.
Yeah.
And, for a lot of years, Steve, when I came into the business coaching space, I worked with small business owners. And then I found a lot of coaches and consultants that were struggling to really build their business because they were kind of going down a lot of the traps that I went down. And I discovered this high-end way of doing business. And so when I started applying this not only to my own business, but to other people's businesses, like it was life changing for them. And it changed their family. It changed how they felt about their business. Their clients loved them. They were getting to work at a much higher level. And so it's just something that people have in them. In most cases, they just don't know how to put the pieces together. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. So you say, well, what if they're not there yet? They probably are. They're just not, they don't know how to do it. That's it.
That's a great piece of advice. And this is exciting for people listening, exciting for me to hear, because if you think you're there, and I'm living that. We talked in the green room before.
Yes.
I became this thought leader and servant attitude.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, so I'm living. I said that already because I'm excited to hear that, because audience, that's what's happened to me. Some of you know me, this podcast has blown up and for great reasons, because of great guests like you, Ann. But
Thank
it sounds
you.
also like a mindset. That's what I had to change.
Mm. There's some of that. There's kind of two parts to that, Steve. One piece, a lot of people think, oh, I don't even know what I would sell at $50,000 or $125,000 or whatever that number is. And it's because they don't know how to do it and they've never been exposed to it. But the interesting thing is, when I walk people through the process and I really extract their value and I show them, look what this is worth to the market, like their mind is blown. And I really don't have to shift their mindset, because it's just it's like making them aware and showing them this is how you can go sell this. And then I've even had people that will go out, for example, I think about somebody, she was charging a few $1,000s. She went out and reached out to somebody she knew. She closed him for $52,000. And then she came back and she goes, I probably could have closed him for 100. Now that lights me up, right? Because they realize, oh my gosh, it's just understanding how to do this. That's it. There's no magic to it. It's just knowing how to do it. But I had to learn it the hard way. It took me a lot to figure all this out.
You've created the wheel. My dad used to tell me, don't recreate the wheel. So you've created that wheel of acceleration.
I did.
And you teach it.
I
And,
did.
you bring value to that.
But it was through a lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
A lot of mistakes that
Yeah.
got me to that place. Yes.
Yeah. Just like me with podcasting, the things I've learned, hey, I can teach you. You don't have to go through them. You take that learning curve that's like this, if you're watching this on YouTube, and you flatten out the curve for them.
Yes, absolutely. I say, here's an analogy or a metaphor that I use a lot. I say, look, you can take the horse and buggy to your success, the slow route, right? Or you can take the jet plane. I'm the jet plane.
Yeah, that's a great analogy. Now, people with price points are listening like, well, yeah, I'm at 1,000 and yeah, I'd love to go to 10,000. What's a tip you can give them?
Take a look at what you are already doing right now. And I call this impact pricing or value pricing. And think about selling the result or the outcome or the transformation. And what is that worth to your client? So for example, here's a really easy way to do this. If I can help somebody add $1 million to their business in a year, can I charge 100 grand for that? Yes. So that's impact pricing. Now, if I can help them add 3 million over a year, could I actually charge 300,000? I still could, right? It's still a 10 times return. So when I help people, a lot of times figure out their pricing, a lot of times they'll go in like, we raise the floor. So I say, right, when you raise the floor, this is the minimum that you're going to take, right? But then you've got all these levels above and you're always selling high first. And then if they can't buy that, then you downsell them, versus other people trying to go up the ladder. We're going down the ladder, which is faster. And so one of the things that I really help them with is to really understand how they can articulate that value, but to understand the impact pricing. So when they're sitting in front of a client and they uncover, what could this mean to a client? What's the impact this will have? They can sort of justify in their mind the pricing and what that would look like. And then it's just really sharing that value with the client. So if you're working, for example, with the sales team and you say, if we did this, this, and this, what do you think that would impact your business? And they would say, oh my gosh, we could grow our business by $10 million. Great, let's do it. My fees are $1 million, or you can take some on the back end. I mean, that's what I'm talking about with impact pricing.
I love that. It's a great tip. And everybody, I've been told high to low every time, because if you start at 20,000, you go to 2, the 2 looks like $2.
Yes.
Excuse me. So
So
let's
true.
talk. So we got price, and that's important, but the structure of your offer and how that offer looks, do you help with that as well?
Mhm. All of it, everything from the offer structure. Actually, I call it your revenue, your suite of offers.
Mhm.
So I help you with your revenue model, basically, what those different levels of offers look like. Another way that I like to help people structure their offers is to have something really compelling on the front end. That's kind of a no-brainer for people. You're still getting paid good fees, but then you have that engagement with them, and now you bring, you keep them on the back end. So that's another way to sell these bigger programs, these bigger packages. And it can be done in corporate, it can be done with coaches, it can be done with really anybody. So I help with them with everything from offer creation to their marketing. Now we use next level marketing strategies, I call them, and I call it basically scalable speaking or speaking strategies. And this is where we're leveraging a podcast, we're leveraging speaking, getting them on stages, we're getting them out there, we're getting them visible. Live virtual events, I help my clients run that, summits, all these different strategies that elevate their brand at the same time that they're attracting their ideal clients. So those are the strategies that I teach my clients.
Those are huge because those are all revenue generating opportunities, some
Yes.
little, some a lot. And like Warren Buffett says, you have to be diverse in how you make money. You can't just say, I'm going to coach you on how to sleep better.
Yeah.
You've got to have different ways of making money. And in this case, you show them how to do it within their coaching program.
Yeah. And actually, I'm glad you brought that up, because one of the things I help people do is, let's take a course creator, for example. They've created all these courses, maybe through the years, they've got all this stuff they're doing. How can you now bundle that into one transformative offer or one offer with an outcome? That's your $50,000 or $100,000 offer. And so a lot of people don't think like this. They're out there again, they're selling like I see this with marketing agencies a lot. They've built up all of these different things that they do, and now they're trying to market themselves 1,000 ways, right?
Mhm.
Instead of saying, okay, this is going to be our genius, this is going to be our sweet spot, let's go big here. And then these are maybe the 3 or 4 levels that we're going to offer people, but we can give them the whole ball of wax, so to speak. It's just how we work with them, or to the level that they work with us might vary. And so a lot of people don't think like this. And I learned this, oh my gosh, so many years ago when I was running one of my businesses. So I had 5 previous businesses and sold them before this one. And I had a health club. And one of the things that I learned way back when was high ticket in my health club was the way to faster success. So like the $39 memberships, you had to have a lot of people, right? It was volume. So I came up with a $12,000 offer. Now this was 20 something years ago, and we sold it. And that was 20 something years ago. We sold that $12,000 a year offer. And that was just unheard of back then. Like
Yeah.
people didn't even, that wasn't even a thing. And so I learned this really high end method years ago, because it was the thing that actually put money in my bank account, helped me expand my businesses, open more businesses. And so, the funny thing is, when I came into the coaching space, I didn't apply those things. Like I had to sit back and figure out, like, why is this thing not growing the way I want? And why am I frustrated with the clients I'm working with? And all of a sudden it came to me, oh my gosh, Anne, you need to go back to what will work at a higher level and will accelerate your success and will give you more profitability. That's the other thing. High profits. And so when I applied that, that's where my expert in you method came from.
God, it's powerful. You got me, my hair on my arms standing up, because
Woo! I love
this
that.
is well, and here's the thing. I'm going to ask you this because I've heard this.
Mhm.
Oh my God, we had COVID and businesses shutting down. The economy's in tank. Gas price, all these excuses. They're overthinking it. What would you tell somebody that says, I can't charge 50K? The economy's in tank.
That is just garbage. I'm sorry, I'm going to say it like it is. I don't sugarcoat
Yeah.
things. It's absolute garbage. Here's the thing, Steve. He who markets the best wins. He who knows how to sell wins. He who gives the best client experience wins. Put all those things together, you have a winning recipe for a very lucrative business. And the reason I've been through with all of my businesses. In fact, in the 2008 recession, I had a very low end competitor come in. At the same time, the recession hit, the housing market collapsed, and I opened 3 more businesses. Like, we put everything on the line. Everybody was shutting down around me. I just knew it was the thing to do. I knew it was, you've got to go bigger. You can't like cower down and say, "Ooh, we're not making as much money. Oh my gosh, we're taking a hit. Everything's hurting." And we went all in, and I was able to sell all 4 of those businesses later, and it changed our lives financially. So I am all about that is a mindset problem. If
Yeah.
you are thinking like that, you get to create your own economy as an entrepreneur. I mean, there's no better thing out there, right? You get to create your own economy. You're responsible for everything good and bad. So if you're already thinking like that, you're already behind. I mean, you've already just hurt yourself.
Audience, that was $1 million tip there you got for free. Well, I think I'm going to charge you all if I can figure. No, I'm kidding, audience. No,
I'll send you all the invoice. There you go.
thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. And you're so awesome. And I appreciate what you said, because I know people that flourished during COVID and pivoted and flourished.
It did not affect
just like
me.
you. Yeah.
It did
Did not affect
me.
you. Actually grew you and made you a better financially today than you were when COVID hit. So let's talk servant. What does a servant leader look like to you?
I really believe that it is like you are doing this for the right reasons. Your why goes deeper. Part of the reason why I'm so passionate to help people is because I went down so many rabbit holes when I came into the coaching and consulting industry. Even though I knew business, even though I'd built lots of businesses, this was a different animal. And when I came online, it was even harder because I had to learn all the online stuff. And I fell into a lot of cookie cutter kind of things that didn't work. They didn't tap into my expertise, all of those things. And so the reason I actually started working with coaches and consultants is I was part of a coaching organization, and I was one of the only coaches that was having success in their program. And it was because I took a step back and I figured things out, and I said, this isn't, their stuff's not, it's not flying, it's not jiving. So they started sending coaches to me to get my help. And I started thinking, wow, I'm building their business here.
Yeah.
Instead of building mine. And so that's when I moved into helping coaches and consultants, wrote my book, started my podcast, I started my podcast later, but that's when I started doing all of that, because I thought, you know what, if I can impact these coaches and consultants, like I work a lot in the B2B space. So if I can help them be successful, how many more people can they help that I wouldn't be able to help all those people, right? I wouldn't be able to help thousands of businesses.
Right.
But if I help 100 coaches or 50 coaches or 10 coaches, and they all go out and help 10 businesses, it's like the trickle down. It's like the ripple effect. That's what I was trying to say. So my heart is, I know you can build wealth with business. And I see a lot of people that are only thinking about an income. And I think that's a shame, because I have this vision to write $1 million check to help kids. And to me, that's also part of a servant's heart. Like, it's not just about making money to change your own life. It's like, what can you do with the money when you have overflow, abundance? Already give a lot, but I haven't got to write the $1 million check yet, Steve, and I'm
Yep.
waiting. I'm going to do it.
And I love that you said that, because your business and what you do and help is high level. Tons of money coming people's way, but the abundance you get is the abundance you can give.
Yes.
You're such 100%. A servant's heart, because I had to learn, be honest, it took me a couple of years ago to learn that. I was afraid of making money. My dad was very frugal, grew up in the Depression, and obvious, it's just his mindset. This is a tough
I want
question.
to actually speak to that for a minute and
Yeah,
share
please
something
do.
personal if I can. So my husband grew up very poor, in a very poor family. And when he got out of college, he started traveling around the world as a service engineer, and he was making really good money back then. This was in the 70s. Now I'm sharing my age, but he always has had a job. He's always had a paycheck. And I've been an entrepreneur except for the first 13 years we were married. I worked in retail business management. I have been an entrepreneur, and I started my first business because I decided to be a stay-at-home mom, and the math didn't work. His paycheck didn't cover what we needed, and we were struggling financially. And my 4-year-old son needed shoes, and I sat down and cried because we didn't have the money. And I started praying and looking for a way. And that's when I started my first business that went global before the internet. And I started helping a lot of other moms, started employing a lot of other moms. I was running a manufacturing company out of my home, and I was helping other families and other moms. And then from there, went into the health clubs and all of that. But the reason I'm telling this story is because it has really not been very long since I have been able to shift my husband's mindset around money. Now, I've always dealt with big amounts of money coming in and big amounts of money going out, and money flows, right? And because when you're running your own businesses, that's the way it is. But he's always had this employee mindset, like, oh, this is all we have, right? And so it took a lot for me to shift his mindset around, look, I am the creator of our money. God's going to bless me with whatever he's going to bless me with, right? But I'm the creator of that. And so it's all dependent on me. And when you know how to go make money, you realize it's replaceable and you don't have the same attachment to it. Like, I want money, but I'm not attached to money. Yeah. And that's a very different place than in your mindset. And I'm sorry if that was a little much, but I think it's important for people to understand the mindset differences and what one creates and what one does not.
No, it's a beautiful story. No, I'm so glad you share, because it's the same thing I had to deal with my dad and myself.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely parallel. It's interesting, and we're running out of time, but this is a big question for me, because I talk to a lot of coaches. It's part of my podcast. And what do you see? Because coaching took off after COVID. Everybody's at home. Hey, I'm an expert in this and this, and I'll teach this and this, which is great. But we also have not so good coaches, and that'll wash itself out.
We won't go down that road.
No, we won't. No, I'll stop right there. But what do you see the future of business coaching? What do you see with AI and everything that's happening?
Yeah. First of all, people still need help with execution. There's nothing new out there. You can go out and you can watch all my free stuff. You can grab the video series on my website. You can get all my free resources. You can pick up my $14.99 book, and you can learn practically anything. I've had people that have come to my free workshops and went out and made more money the next day. And I've had people that have reached out to me and said, Ann, I watched that video and I went and applied it. Okay, so that's a servant's heart too, right? Is put value out there. Everyone's not going to be a client. But I still feel like they'll only get so far like that. They will only get so far with the free stuff. They will only get so far watching people. There comes a point where you don't know the details. You don't know the intricate details. I'll give you an example. I hired a $30,000 coach to help me with a gap in my podcast so that I could start bringing in more clients and closing more clients. $30,000 I paid for this coach to get that one little gap closed in my business. And it was so worth it, because immediately when that coach did that, I closed a $45,000 client. So it's thinking like this and realizing you need execution. You cannot see every detail, and you can't possibly, I always like to use the metaphor or the analogy. It's like if I dumped 1,000-piece puzzle in the middle of the floor and said, okay, now put it together, it would take you quite a while to do that, right? Or, and what if some pieces were missing? What if some pieces were missing? Now you've got something that's not worth anything. So this is how people try to do things. And so, long-winded answer, but business coaching isn't going to go away, because people still need the execution. They still need the intricate help. They still need the hold handing. It's why courses have a very small success rate, because people need the real help. So AI is not going to be able to do that. There's nothing that's going to change the human factor. So, but the cream will rise to the top. I just want to say, those who are the best, they will survive, they will thrive, and other people will be left behind.
I'm rarely speechless, and I am, because you really, succinctly nailed it. It's a mindset. It's the ability to find the right resources. And you're right. Free is free. Free gets you so far. It's free for a reason. Exactly. Accountability. We can go down that list. We don't have time to do that. You are an absolute blessing to people. You are truly a servant's heart. that's successful financially and in business, but you still keep giving back. And that's a wonderful lesson you taught us today. Much more than that, but that's what I took from this incredible show. So thank you for being on.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been a blast.
Well, there's golden nuggets, audience, that she put out. Watch this again, listen to this again. And I look forward to seeing you on the next episode of Doing Business with a Servant's Heart.